For those who prefer Linux or are simply curious about Linux and other open source technologies, this is Category 5 Technology TV.
Welcome to episode number 290 of Category 5 Technology TV. It's Tuesday the 9th of April 2013. So good to see you. 290 weeks.
Whoa.
Whoa!
That's a lot of shows, Rob.
Whoa. Well, let's focus on this week. How has your week been?
Holistically, very good. Up until this morning.
Oh, what happened?
I was a victim of thievery.
No!
My iPod was stolen right out of the clutches of my car.
Ouch.
Now, luckily, it was just the iPod.
Yeah.
But it was some punk kids in my neighborhood.
Of course it was.
Going through cars, and they like rifled through everything. There were CDs strewn. My expensive GPS remained. Yeah. And they just stole the iPod.
Well, why would a kid want a GPS?
Oh,
yeah, because that's how we know it was a punk kid.
That's how
Grown up would have been like, leave the iPod, I'm grabbing the GPS. So it narrows it down. And what do you do in a case like that? It's not like you can put it on insurance.
Yeah.
Or something. Like it's like the scenario when we got broken into. It's like you can't. You're not going to pay a deductible to get it back. It's like, oh, you just take it and it's not. And what kind of iPod was it?
An iPod Nano, 4th generation, pink, very Hillary.
Yeah.
Full of my music.
So like if it was an iPod Touch or something, you could use iCloud to track it down. If it was an iPhone or an iPad or something like that.
None of that.
Not with the Nano, unfortunately.
No.
So what are you going to do?
Cry a little?
Yeah. Plea to the viewers. Viewers.
Please.
She needs an iPod Nano, preferably pink.
I feel more violated than anything.
I know, eh?
That's
the thing.
Like, come on. And normally I lock my car, but the one time I didn't.
Well, because they probably check it every day.
Little punks. Now I want to like unlock it on purpose and leave a nasty note or a guilty note, like a guilt-inducing note for them, and then they'll find it. Or
like get an iPod Touch and then like take the risk, install Find My iPhone or whatever it's called on it, and leave it on the front seat and unlock the doors and just pray that it works.
But
track them down.
This has happened to my husband.
Yeah.
And I asked a local high schooler about it, and he says the kids do this all the time.
No way.
Wipe them out.
It's all about the kids, folks.
Just wait.
It's all the kids.
They wipe it out. They bring it to school and then sell it for like $20.
No.
Like $20.
Ouch.
Not even like a hefty thing. It's like
iPods are worth like $1,000.
It's insulting.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
So we'll put a real positive spin on the night. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to forget about all your woes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be a downer, guys. I just had to tell you.
Whatever rough start of the day any of us have had, we're just going to breathe in, breathe out. I have no idea if that's how you do it, but it worked for me. But I had a great morning, so
I'm really glad you did.
Sorry to rub it in.
No, I just had to tell you guys that my music is gone. But
you can't listen to music now.
I'll figure something out. I just had to tell the world. So I'm over it. I'm ready to roll and excited for a good show because I know I have a lot to tell that's newsworthy.
Excellent. What's coming up?
For example, here's some proof for you that times have changed. Microsoft is pointing the finger at Google, accusing them of monopolizing the market.
Whoa.
Sky's move to Yahoo in the UK has resurrected deleted email for its users over and over. Linux is going to space. And lastly, agar and fruit juice could have the fat of chocolate without changing the texture.
Wow.
Half the calories and still tastes or feels the same. I'm all for it. So stick around because these are coming up later in our show.
Awesome. We've got an exceptionally exciting show for you tonight. We're going to be showing you a Linux distribution that is fresh off the press, that is going to, you're going to see, I don't want to spoil it, but imagine if Unity and GNOME 3 just didn't happen, and things just kept progressing the way that we wanted them to, which was the GNOME 2 kind of realm of, applications menu and the way that things function, Compiz and all the brilliant effects that come with that, excellent performance, stability, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be looking at that distribution tonight, so don't go anywhere. Cool. We're going to actually be installing that right here and getting you a free copy of that distribution of Linux, so don't go anywhere. So what else have we got tonight? I mean, it's an exceptionally exciting show. I've been just like eager to be here tonight. So good to see you. And get your viewer questions in live at category5.tv. I don't want to waste any time. I want to just hit a real quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get started installing this distribution of Linux. So stick around. Don't go anywhere.
At EcoAlkalines, we believe you should be able to trust your batteries not just here, but here, here, and here. But with one exception, you should also be able to trust your batteries here. EcoAlkalines are the world's first and only certified carbon-neutral battery manufactured to the highest standards of recycling and quality, without any trace amounts of harmful chemicals like mercury, lead, or cadmium. EcoAlkalines provide performance that rivals leading national alkaline battery brands at a comparable price. Find out more about the EcoAlkalines difference. EcoAlkalines.com.
Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. And we are also part of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters.
Speaking of being a part of the Tech Podcast Network, something that we've had on our site this week, I don't know if you've been on to category5.tv, but very exciting. We've got live coverage from NAB 2013, which is, you get to learn about all the latest and greatest crazy products that have, like a lot of broadcast technology is there. Live stream is there. There are video cameras that fly. And they're like remote control helicopters.
That's cool.
Awesome stuff. Just a lot of great coverage there. You can go to category5.tv. Right now it's not on our site because we are live, but of course after the show tonight you'll see a countdown to tomorrow's feature. It starts at 1:30 in the afternoon tomorrow afternoon Eastern time, and then of course the live show goes until 8 o'clock. It's just a whole bunch of vendors, and it's all live.
That's
right
awesome.
At category5.tv. So don't miss it.
No way.
Yeah. Are you set? I'm excited. Okay. You remember last week we were working away on my computer and doing a demonstration here on Category 5 TV, and all of a sudden Ubuntu decided to go crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just another one of those moments where I was like, Unity...
Come on.
This is disunity, if you ask me. This is disjointed, combobulated disunification of user and operating system.
Yes.
Linux has always represented freedom. And not just free as in no price, but free as in you've got freedom to make it your own, really make it feel like what you want your Linux to feel like. Linux, of course, being a replacement for Windows or Mac OS, it is an operating system that you can put on your computer. And tonight we are looking at Point Linux, and I'm very, very excited to have found this distribution because it feels like what Linux would be if I decided, you know what, fine, I'm going to make my own Linux based on when Linux was brilliant, before all this transitioning to tablets and stuff took place. So we're talking, the GNOME 2 style interface, and when I say that, I mean, the familiar interface, but working with new technology, new kernels, new, cutting edge stuff, but with the interface and the usability and the freedom getting that freedom back where you can make your system feel the way that that it should. So we're going to start tonight by installing this operating system. And here it is. We're booting from Point Linux 13.04, which I'm pleased to announce right now on the show is available at pointlinux.org, and that is new information.
Ooh.
Literally just came out when I said it. It is now available.
That is pretty good.
Now
Check
it's
it
there.
out right this second.
So here we go. I am booting up the live CD here. You can do this on your computer and install this brand or this distro of Linux on your computer system. And let's see how this goes. I'm excited.
I'm just watching this.
I've been
waiting.
through. Toby said to me in the chat room, "Have you been enjoying distro hopping?" Which is to say, installing Linux after Linux after Linux, because I'm looking and searching for that Linux that makes me feel like I'm in love with Linux again. We've had this discussion when Unity first came out. What did we do? We took some time and we tried to make Unity, Linux, Ubuntu feel like the old style Linux. Now, the hands are getting tied even more, and the restraints are tighter and tighter as far as the freedom aspect goes, and we're losing that, and everything is going to this other interface. So now we're going to get that back with pointlinux.org. Go grab yourself a copy right now, and you can download that for free off of the website, 32-bit, 64-bit downloads. Here we go. So now we're launching into the desktop for the first time here. This is, again, a live CD, so this is what I actually see from the CD. It's not installed on my computer yet. But you see that there's a button that says Install Point Linux. And just quickly looking at Point Linux, you can see that it is dreamy. Look at that. Looks familiar, right, folks? For those of us that are a little bit old school, a little bit nostalgic, and love a system that is fast and really, really responsive, let's just click on Install Point Linux, and we're going to see what happens here. You'll see granting rights is happening at the bottom here. There we go. Okay, what language are we going to be? English, Canada.
Good call.
Sounds good. Look at that. It's used geolocation to actually pinpoint my physical location. It's automatically put in my time zone. If I need to, I can click around the map, or, of course, I can use this drop-down to change it. Okay, so I just need to click forward. What kind of keyboard do you have? Here in Canada, it defaults to French, because if you buy a computer here in Canada, it is going to come with a French keyboard, which is really quite annoying because your @ button's in the wrong place, and your quotation button's in the wrong place, and your / button is in the wrong place if you type like me, right? So I'm selecting English US because I have actually purchased a keyboard that is a US style keyboard, English keyboard. Okay, so forward. Okay, your name, Robbie Ferguson.
That's easy.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. My password, what we want to call this computer, we'll call it Point Linux. This is the host name. And I'm just doing this because I want you to see how easy it is to install this distribution. One of the great things about the newest version of Point Linux, 13.04, is that they have absolutely rebuilt the installer. It's a GUI installation process, as you see here, and it works really, really well. So I'm going to select my hard drive. In this case, I'm using a virtual machine, but that's only for the sake of the demonstration, just so that you can see it install. And you can install this on your physical box or in a virtual machine, however you want to do it. It tells me that my hard drive has not been partitioned yet. Do you want it to automatically partition? I'm going to say yes. That's an easy way to do it. That basically means it's going to slice up the pie, which is your hard drive, and put things where they need to go. One of the things that you'll notice, though, now is that I've got a swap partition and I've got an ext4 partition, but neither of those is mounted to /. So I just right-click on my ext4 partition, and I'm going to assign that to my / drive, or my / mount point, I should say. That is how Linux does things, where Windows does, C drive is your system drive.
Yeah.
/ is actually your system partition in Linux. So we're good to go. So now we're going to go forward. Where do you want to install Grub? And Grub, all that is it's the menu that you see when you first turn on your computer. If you're dual booting, which means you've got Windows installed and you don't want to lose it because you do some gaming on there, but you want to put Linux on, you can dual boot. Grub will give you the option to select at boot whether you want to boot into Linux or whether you want to boot into Windows, for example. So we're going to put that on the only hard drive that's in my system, and that is my SDA. We're not going to put it on a partition. Those are partitions. That's the actual drive. Okay. Forward. lets me review the settings. There's a little checkbox here that says Send Anonymous Installation Report. Leave that checked. What that does is it tells the people at Point Linux, it's absolutely anonymous information, and all it does is it just lets them know kind of a head count of how many people are using the distribution, what kind of architecture you're using, whether it be 64-bit or 32-bit, that kind of stuff. So it's generic stuff, but it helps them to be able to keep track of how popular the distribution is. And we'd like them to see, if you go and download it, that there have been some installs since seeing it on the show. That's important. So leave that on and click on Install. And look at that. It's formatting. It's going through, it's indexing files to be copied, and we've got a wonderful surprise tonight. I heard him clearing his throat. We, in fact, have the creator of Point Linux on the line with us tonight, and so we'd like to say hello to him. Peter, it is so nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Robbie. Good evening, Hillary.
Well, great to see you,
everyone.
Peter, we are so thrilled about your distribution because it really feels like I was saying off the top of the show there, it feels like Linux was meant to feel when we were in that progression, going from Compiz to Barrel, and then from Barrel to Compiz Fusion, and the whole progression that was going on there, and then suddenly it was decided for us that those things were going to be no more. So tell us a little bit about how and why Point Linux started. What is it that motivated you to do something which is essentially, now can I call Point Linux a bit of a fork from, we're looking at everything is kind of the way it was with GNOME 2, Compiz, things like that?
Well, what is Point Linux, first of all? Point Linux is a Linux distribution based on the Debian, Wheezy, and Mate 1.4.2. So, and its aim, as Robbie just said, is to bring back the GNOME 2 desktop experience on a modern Debian platform.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, that's right. And, well, why it all happened? So I just, when it all started when when I just heard that the original GNOME 2 project ceased to exist. So I just decided I just have to do something about it. And so I heard about the Mate, the new project, and I did some tests. I just wanted to see how good it could be integrated into the well, how good could I recreate the original GNOME, because I wanted my GNOME back.
Yeah.
And so I just when I felt that it actually works, I just started, thinking about making a distro.
Peter, I think there's this massive group of users, and I don't even know what kind of numbers represent them. I would say that I'm a part of this group, a group that, like yourself, just wants that old style GNOME feeling back. And I think I kind of touched on it off the top there, where it's not just about the interface, and it's not just about the way that it runs, and it doesn't matter who makes it. It's about the freedom, I think, is a big part of it. And having installed Point Linux and testing it over the past couple of weeks, because I've had access to some pre-releases and things like that, I've been just, it's like stepping back in time in a way, because everything's current and everything is modern, but as far as my interface goes, I feel like this is the Linux that I fell in love with. This is the Linux that I tried to show all my friends and that I wanted everybody to give a try to.
Well, the thing is that it is kind of back to the future thing here, because you see, as the GNOME actually canceled the GNOME 2 project, many users felt just betrayed, because
totally, yeah.
The thing is that GNOME 2 was not only the desktop platform, it was actually a perfect solution for servers.
Yep.
Where you need just I don't know, where you need the basic thing.
Yep.
Just. it was great for the netbooks, well, generally speaking, for things like that. Just so. The same thing, by the way, goes to Unity. The Unity cannot be installed on servers. For instance, I have heard that people just people saying that Unity cannot satisfy them on servers.
Yeah. No,
so.
So now knowing what has kind of motivated you to create this, stepping back a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about the platform, how you've gone about it, and what exactly, like, what is your goal with Point Linux? It's not just to create that nostalgic feel. There's a lot more to it than that. Where are we at right now, and what are we going to see over the next little while?
Well, I just wanted to make a distribution that could be first of all, I just made a distribution to be able to bring it to people like me, just to be I'm a system administrator, right? I work with computers a lot, so I just wanted to give people the same experience, because Point Linux actually has a good out-of-box experience.
Absolutely.
I think you've already noticed that.
We're going to see that in just a couple of moments here as well, Peter. I'd like to see how the installation is progressing. And also, I'd like to note that with English being your second language, you're doing very well, and I appreciate you stepping out of your comfort zone tonight to speak with us. I really do appreciate that. So the installation is progressing and is going through. It's at the point now where it's removing the live configuration packages. Notice that we've been discussing things in the meantime. There hasn't been a lot of interaction there. Things are progressing well, and I don't have to really.
Nothing to worry about.
I'm not even really watching it, right? So it's going quite well. So now, what about package repositories? I mean, you mentioned that you're basing this on Debian, and of course, keeping in mind that Debian is the base for Ubuntu at its core, and many other distributions. So you're really, literally, kind of picking this up where I would say, the big distros were about 2 to 3 years ago, and then branching out into a whole new distro, which I think is exciting because, like I say, it kind of makes us feel like we're back at the Linux that we fell in love with. So what is going on with repositories? Where do the files come from that I'm going to be installing when this is booted up, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, there are two active repos actually. The first one is the Debian repo, and the second one is the Point Linux repo that is hosted in Russia actually. So but the server works pretty good, so I think that there won't be a problem. But if somebody actually wants to make a mirror, he's welcome.
Very
actually,
good.
I have to say.
Yeah.
Because we need support in this field.
Yeah, makes me think about how the cloud and things could be brought into play, and even expand that even further. But that's very cool. So you're hosting everything in Russia, and we'll have access to it from here. Now, how old is the project, and how long have you been doing this, and what is kind of the status of the project itself?
Well, I have started developing for about half a year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean actively, because I have had successful Ubuntu and Debian and Fedora respins because of that. But I have when I realized that that's gonna be a separate Linux project, that was half a year ago. Something like that.
Very good. So 13.04, which just came out when I announced it there about 15 minutes ago. That is your second release? Is that right?
Yes, that's right. The first release had the Debian installer. It was a text-based
okay.
Debian installer.
Yeah.
And it is actually a great thing. I love it. It is absolutely perfect for the server setups.
Right.
When you just, for instance, when you just make a NetInst installation, and you just need the, well, it works fine, but
sure.
As it comes to the live media, it was not designed for the live media. So it just actually it's too big, it's too bulky. So I just had to replace it. And in fact, the whole the whole size of the image is actually reduced.
Oh yeah, okay, really? That's surprising.
So. Well, there are. Well, I know it's a hard way actually,
right?
But there is a. Well, I feel I had to do it. Yet it will draw more attention to the distro.
Sure. I think one of the things that you should be very proud of too is that it doesn't feel like a new distro. Like it really does feel like a mature project as I'm using it. I actually have it installed on our main system, and we're going to have a look at it in a few minutes' time. But we want to finish up the actual installation here, Peter, and you'll see that this is done. It's ready to go, and I can just say yes to restart my computer. So we're actually going to do that. Now, Peter, who is your, I guess you would say, your target as far as customer base goes? Who is it that that you think that Point Linux is for?
Well, first of all, I think it is for experienced users. I still cannot recommend it to the newcomers.
Sure.
I think, the experienced users, the just small companies that are looking for the
people like you or I suppose,
for a squeeze replacement, because it is a Debian well, it's based on Debian. It is pure Debian.
Yeah.
It reports that it's a Debian, so I just wanted to leave it just like it is.
Yeah. Because
many people actually, many distributions actually change the LSB release line. Yeah. Well, it's a line that actually reports what the distro is. So I just decided to leave it just like it is. Debian. So it is Debian. It is a pure Debian.
Okay. Now, as you say, you mentioned that it's kind of more for the power user, somebody like yourself or myself, and maybe not the first Linux that you would want to install. I don't think that we should keep all the fun to ourselves. Realistically, I think we should share it. So, for somebody, I think about some of the friends that we have in the chat room that are watching right now, who maybe are more experienced, that could install this for their friends or for their family members, because it's completely usable. It's completely like it's Linux, but it's almost like it's fun to tinker. I saw this meme online that I really could relate to, where Linux isn't just about the freedom. It's not just about the fact that we don't have to deal with viruses. It's the fact that it's fun to tinker, and it's fun to break things, and it's fun to fix them again and play around. It feels like you're working on your computer and actually working at more of a higher level, I guess, than just something that like Windows or something where you don't have any control over the operating system. It's completely done installing here, and I've rebooted, and I can enter my password, and here we go, booting into Point Linux for the very, very first time. Peter, what repositories can we get access to here right out of the box? Do we have things like, let's say, Flash, or the ability to add non-free applications to our Linux distro here?
Well, it depends on what edition you actually choose, because there are two editions. The first edition is the full edition, of course.
Which is what I've installed here. I'll just mention that is what I've installed, is the full download. So
the full edition actually has almost everything out of box.
Wonderful.
It has the VLC media player. It has the Flash plugin. It has, well, Firefox as a browser. So it is actually the system configured out of box. You can actually start using it in most cases. It has LibreOffice. Well, you can read the description of packages on the Point Linux site, just in the release notes.
Great.
So and there is another edition.
Mm-hmm.
It is Core edition, and it actually has nothing. It has nothing but the desktop.
It's just a blank CD? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it is. Well, the thing is, it fits CD. It fits CD. It can be put on a CD. It is good for the people that love to just make it from scratch. And also it is good for the in cases where a computer has no DVD drive, and it can't boot the.
So we're basically looking at Core is available for CD-ROM versus, which may also do well for like a USB flash drive or something like that. Or you've got the DVD as the full version, which most people I think these days are going to go with the full version anyways. I guess you would know that better than I because you watch the downloads. But I think typically you kind of want everything out of the box. Yeah.
I would go for a full version, actually.
Mm-hmm. So with all of the stuff that comes with it, and how great it is, and how it installed so perfectly, and just easy breezy, is there any cost, or is there ever going to be any cost, or how can we? I suppose, and I know the answer is that there is no cost. It's absolutely free to download and install this. So how can I put some money into your pocket so that we can support the development of this project that, as far as I'm concerned, is exactly what we needed? And when I say we, I'm talking the Linux community. Mm-hmm. How can we put some money in your pocket to make sure that this thing keeps going?
Well, there is on the website, there is the donate page where you can just select the payment system that you would love to use. And well, there are only 2 systems supported at the moment, but I will add more later.
Sure.
Well, it's PayPal. Mm-hmm. It's PayPal, actually, I think. So the donations are welcome, of course, because the project actually needs donations to grow, to just make it easier for us to make new versions.
It really feels like all around. It feels more like Linux was 3 years ago. Like, what is this? So you're doing this work for free for the community, and you're accepting donations to continue the development of the project, and you're doing a wonderful job, Peter, I must say, and I'm loving the distribution. We're going to take a closer look at it. Is there anything else? Let's say I'm a user with a little bit of programming knowledge, or maybe I've got a web server at my business or something. Is there you mentioned repository mirroring. Is there something that I can do if I don't necessarily have the finances to send you? Is there something that I can do to assist you with this project? What can we as a community do for you?
Well, there are many ways to actually support the project. You can, well, I'm just looking to build a team, so I really need helping hands now. Well, that's the point when I need helping hands, because I did well the things that I could myself, but now I feel I need to expand the project, and so the helping hands would be very welcome, actually. So the Python programmers, the I don't know, the PHP programmers, just English-speaking people that can actually, that are not afraid to write docs, would be very welcome. Yet the ordinary users can can help also. They could actually spread the word, about the project, just to help it. Yet there is another thing that I would love to ask. Please, if you downloaded through the torrent, please don't remove it after a successful download.
You want to seed it for a little while, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's about it.
Very good. So for those of you who aren't familiar with torrent, what that means is as you download the program, as you download this CD or the DVD, it actually then shares it through your internet connection with all the other people who are downloading it in such a way that it takes some of the cost off of Peter's servers because you're downloading it and then you're sharing it out from there. It's like peer-to-peer kind of sharing in a very sophisticated way. So that's a good suggestion as well. Peter, I would love to take a little bit of a closer look at the distribution itself. Interesting.
Sorry.
I'm going to take a look at the distribution itself. Now, we were talking a little bit about non-free packages, and you'll notice that I'm just going to go into Synaptic Package Manager here. And there are some interesting packages that I notice here. One of them is called Point Linux Repos Non-Free. And this actually automatically adds your non-free third-party repositories, the GPG keys, automatically does all that. So we're going to add that into our system. That's going to give us access to... Now, what does that give us? That gives us VirtualBox and all those things, Peter.
Well, you can install the package, and it will give you it will automatically install the repos that actually will have these packages. So
exactly.
It is Google Chrome, Opera, then VirtualBox, the VirtualBox that comes from Oracle,
right?
And Dropbox. It's a great thing. I use it, so I think it should be there.
Very good. All right, so let's put that in there. Of course, I want Compiz. Oh, do I want Compiz? Look at that. All right, so I'm going to mark that for installation. Now, let's do a quick search for Compiz, and users who have used Compiz will probably want to do this because you're going to want to add things like Fusion plugins extra. That gives you some extra cool effects and things like that. You may want to... Now, it installs Compiz Config Settings Manager, so that's good. Emerald is a window decorator. That's kind of cool. You see what's happening here is we're getting back into what Linux was. Fusion icon, if you want to have it. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. May I just break in? Well, there is a very handy package. You haven't mentioned it. It is called Point Linux-Compiz. It actually installs the basic functionality of Compiz. So you just have to install the package and then just reboot.
Perfect.
And you'll get the basic Compiz.
All right. So let's take a quick look at how this ends up looking on our system. Now, this is the one that we just installed, so I can apply that and I can allow it to go through the installation, or we can in fact get that off my screen, and here we are looking at Point Linux. This is a fully installed version on my computer, and all I've done is I've gone through the repositories here, Peter, and we've added a couple of things just like I was just showing you how to do. One of the things that I did have to do was figure out which kind of graphic driver to put in for my NVIDIA card, which was, I guess, that would be where I would say maybe not so much for like a brand new Linux user. What you could do is go into Synaptic Package Manager if you're using an NVIDIA card, and do a quick search for NVIDIA-detect, and that'll give you a package that's just a simple little command line tool. So I'm going to install that for you. Nice and quick. Going to go into terminal here. Yes.
Well, that's why I would not recommend it.
Exactly.
The Point Linux distro to the newcomers, because there is no driver detection tool like we have in Ubuntu. So you'll have to install. Well, in fact, the many non-free drivers are already installed on the on the full edition version.
Right.
But if you actually are looking for NVIDIA drivers installation, you'll have to do it yourself, so they won't be detected. So the package is called NVIDIA dash current, as far as I can remember.
Okay, well, what we can also do
is...
Like, see what I've done here, Peter? I don't know if you can see my screen, but I've done a quick sudo NVIDIA-detect, and it's shown me that there is a package called NVIDIA GLX that's available for my particular card, right? And with that particular package, you can just find it right here. There it is. You'll see that I've already installed it, and that's in fact given me all of my NVIDIA stuff. So all that to show, Peter, that it's really not as complicated as we would make it out to be. We can use tools like that to determine there's the package name that I needed to install, and what did it do? But it actually gave me a full NVIDIA driver for my card, and it works great. There it is, just as you would expect. So, brilliant job that you've done with Point Linux. Is there anything else that we can that we should mention as we have you here, Peter? Pointlinux.org. Get over there, download the distribution.
Excuse me?
I was talking to them, to the viewers, yes.
It looks like I have just missed some.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just saying thank you for being here on the show, Peter, and you know, I love what you're doing with Point Linux. I think that the community is going to really benefit from your work, and I really hope that our community and that the community of Linux at large will show their support for this project. And I'd encourage you to go to pointlinux.org, grab a download, try it out on your system, do it on a virtual machine if you want to give it a try first, and then play around with it as perhaps your core operating system. Toby, I think that the distro hopping can stop now because we found one that is providing everything that we were hoping for. So, Peter, thank you very much. Is there anything else that we can do for you tonight?
Thank you.
Peter, it's been great having you here. I'm getting a little bit of feedback now at this point.
Well, I'm sorry. I have just a very bad sound now, so I would better say goodbye to anyone.
Okay.
It was nice to see you.
It's nice to have you here. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your wonderful project. Pointlinux.org, folks. Because I'm getting some feedback there, Peter, I'm going to disconnect you. But thank you, and we'll be in touch for sure. And hopefully you can join us in the chat room there, Peter, and answer some questions. Have we had any questions there in the chat room as the show has been going? I'm not sure if those have been caught. But Hillary is here, and I'm here. We're going to real quickly get into the news, I think, at this point. I don't know if you can tell, I'm really quite excited about this distribution and
cool.
Thrilled to be back on a distribution that takes me where I want to be with Linux. So
back to the roots.
Fallen back in love with Linux in general.
Sweet.
Love it. What do you folks think? If you're in the chat room, love to see your feedback right now. Chat with us and also, you know, pop us an email live at category5.tv or tweet us. It's category5tv on Twitter. You can get over to our Facebook page, cat5.tv/Facebook, or Google+, cat5.tv/G+.
We're everywhere.
We're kind of everywhere.
Can't miss it.
We're so social.
Should be able to find us.
Yep.
No prob.
All right, you ready?
I got lots of news, peeps.
All right.
Get ready for this. Microsoft has accused Google of pushing Android handset makers to use its applications such as YouTube and Maps. Along with Oracle, Nokia, and 14 other tech firms, Microsoft has filed a complaint with the European Commission. The group, known as Fair Search, argues that Google is abusing its dominance of the mobile market.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is so backwards. This is Microsoft saying this.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
In response to the filing, Google said, "We continue to work cooperatively with the European Commission." Thomas Vinge is the Brussels-based counsel for Fair Search. He says, "We are asking the Commission to move quickly and decisively to protect competition and innovation in this critical market." He goes on to say, "The failure to act will only embolden Google to repeat its desktop abuses of dominance as consumers increasingly turn to a mobile platform dominated by Google's Android operating system." Android is now the dominant mobile operating system, accounting for about 70% of the market.
That's amazing.
Quite
I
incredible.
didn't know that it was that high.
I know. I didn't either.
And I think that I find it like I'm kind of rolling my eyes over here. I know you can't see because I'm off camera, but
he is.
Seriously, Microsoft is complaining that someone else is monopolizing the market.
Kind of funny. Kind of backwards.
Kind of like, we were talking about kind of going back in time a little bit tonight. Maybe Microsoft should do that and look back a little bit and see what it was like when they had 92% share. Not so much anymore.
What a riot.
You do the math. If Android is 70% and there are a whole bunch of other competitors out there, where does that leave Microsoft?
Crazy. Many UK customers of Sky are being deluged? What did you write here?
What did I write?
Deluged? Is that a word?
Deluged?
Deluged?
I don't write it. I just copy it.
Oh, sorry. With thousands... We're being bombarded with thousands of old and deleted messages as the company switches email providers. In recent weeks, Sky has stopped using Google to provide email services in favor of Yahoo. The switch has seemingly resurrected many messages users formerly detected, with some reporting that they had to go through thousands of messages before deleting them for a second time. Some unlucky customers had to suffer thousands of deleted messages being re-delivered several times. On its support site, Sky acknowledged the problems the changeover has caused. It said the problem emerged during migration as it was copying all customer emails to Yahoo's mail servers. The issue should recede as mail servers were synchronized, they have said.
Boy, that'd be annoying. Can you imagine trying to do business?
Ding, 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 all these things.
Yeah.
Linux-based operating systems have achieved great success in many markets. The open source kernel powers operating systems running on millions of servers, desktops, laptops, and mobile devices. Now Linux will be voyaging into a new frontier, space. United Space Alliance, a NASA contractor which is involved with operations on the International Space Station, the ISS, is migrating many of their key systems from Windows to Linux. This migration to open source includes the world's first Robonaut, a humanoid robot which will assist astronauts on the space station with the mundane or dangerous tasks.
Way to go, Linux.
Way to go. Getting out in space. Low-fat preparations of chocolate are well known, but their textures tend to not match the real thing. A report at the American Chemical Society meeting described a method using the popular gelling agent agar to make tiny sponges that displace fat. University of Warwick researchers said water, fruit juice, or even alcohol could replace up to half the fat. Dr. Stefan Bond said that when they used alcohol, they were like tiny vodka jellies.
Nice. With half the fat.
The emulsion solution required that the liquid be slightly acidic, so that the team opted to use fruit juices, which Dr. Bond said was exciting because it had the combination of fruit juice and chocolate, and everybody went wild for it. You can get these full stories online at category5.tv/newsroom. The Category 5.tv newsroom is researched by Roy W. Nash with contributions from our fabulous community of viewers. If you have a story you think's worthy of honor or mention, send us an email at newsroom@category5.tv. For the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Hillary Rumble.
Thanks, Hillary. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Cordery Electrical Contracting, Inc. You can find them at corderyelectric.com. Also get your free 1-month trial of Netflix at cat5.tv/Netflix. And you see these lovely devices behind us. These are here to save you money. This is the NetTalk Duo and NetTalk Duo Wi-Fi, NetTalk Duo 2. Go to cat5.tv/phone. Find out more about this. This will absolutely eliminate your telephone bill. Check that out. All right, I really wanted to commit some time to Peter there. I love what he's doing.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And I hope that you enjoyed yourself and that you're going to go check out that distribution at pointlinux.org. In the meantime, I suppose we should see what we can do with breaking into the mailbag and answer some of your questions with the short time that we do have left.
Certainly.
Thanks, everybody, for sending in your questions.
We love it. We love it. And we got one here from Dave. Hey, Robbie. Have you ever tried any of open source private cloud software? I like the concept of having all stuff available from everywhere, but I'm not so excited about putting it out there with the big brother, like Google.
Yeah, I guess Apple. I hear you.
I found the software called OwnCloud. Do you have any thoughts on it? Is it maybe worth a feature on Cat 5 in the future?
I haven't used it. I'm quite intrigued by the cloud, and I use it like crazy, but I don't really use the Google thing except for my calendars and stuff like that. I guess that's Google Cloud. I still love my Pogo Plug, pogoplug.com. What's interesting about it, you talk about personal cloud, so having the files yourself as opposed to putting them on Big Brother's servers. Pogo Plug is a device that you plug your hard drive into. So it's your hard drive. Your data is on your hard drive, and it just shares it out over the web in a secure environment, so that you can access it, but nobody else can, kind of thing. I really like that. I haven't used OpenCloud, or OwnCloud, I should say. If anyone in the chat room has used it, would love to hear from you. I wouldn't mind checking out that kind of thing, but Dennis Kelly says that his Pogo Plug is slow, and if you're using a Pogo Plug and it seems slow, if you're on the LAN, Dennis Kelly, like if you're accessing it on the same network that it is physically connected to, then it would be because you're using encryption. Because if you log into your Pogo Plug account and you turn on always encrypt my stuff, it's great because it's encrypted. It's absolutely secure, right? So 256-bit AES encryption, so all of your file transfers and everything happen encrypted. So what happens if, let's say, I have my Pogo Plug at home and I am sitting on my home computer and I'm accessing those files. Now, I'm on a DSL internet account. You would think it would be super, super fast because I'm on gigabit Ethernet. But because I've got encryption turned on, it uploads, it encrypts it using a key that is on an external server because it has to get that encryption key and then route it back to your computer. So it's actually going out through the modem and in through the modem at the same time. So you're cutting it down to, if you've got a DSL modem with 1 meg up and 3 meg down, that means you're going to be maybe getting 500K a second instead of a gigabit. So very, very, very slow. So when you're inside the network, you can turn off encryption. It doesn't encrypt it twice. It in fact encrypts it because you've got that setting set up in your panel when you log into mypogoplug.com. And so in order to encrypt it, it has to use what does an encryption require? It requires a key. Right? In this case, it would be like an SSL cert, something like that. So it has to go out to the SSL site and encrypted and back in encrypted, and so it's a little bit of a roundabout kind of thing happening there. So that would slow you down. When it's important to have the encryption turned on is when you're accessing your Pogo Plug always through the internet. I have a Pogo Plug here, and I have a Pogo Plug at a remote site that is connected to the internet 24/7 so that I can transfer my backups. I actually have active sync copying the data between the two devices. So it's like a RAID 1 of Pogo Plugs, but the encryption happens between those two devices, not between my computer and my local Pogo Plug, if that makes sense. So that would speed things up for you. Big time. Cool. And of course, if you're not keeping anything that's uber private on your Pogo Plug, then if you disable encryption, all it means, it doesn't mean that people can access it.
Right.
It only means that people can intercept it if it's being transmitted through their service. So if I'm an ISP and you open a text file, say, on your Pogo Plug and it's unencrypted, I can read the contents of that text file if I happen to be looking for it. If I happen to be watching it, packet sniffing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that they can access your files. It just means that they can read the transactions between the two devices. You're still going to be logging in through a secure connection, so you don't have to worry about your password being hijacked or anything like that. So, hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Good info. I like it, Robbie. I have another question if we got a little bit of time.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hillary's here.
This comes to us from a secret guest.
A secret guest?
Guest underscore 7353.
Hey.
How do I configure OLSR on 2 DD-WRT router and 3 laptops to form a wireless mesh network?
Nice.
What does that even mean?
Some clever networking fandangleness that we could absolutely cover with the next 4 minutes of the show.
Okay.
Not really. Imagine what happens when your internet goes down. I mean, I use a NetTalk Duo.
I'm in trouble.
Right? So my internet goes down. I lose my phone service. So I have a cell phone, so I'm okay.
Yes.
Right? Most people do. So that's why that is okay. If the internet goes down, you still have a cell phone. You're good to go. But it can be annoying that I can't take my calls during that time.
Of course it is.
Also, let's say I'm on the air. I'm talking on the show, and all of a sudden the internet just happens to go down here. What a pain, right? Well, there are different ISPs, different internet service providers around town. I could go with Bell. I could go with Rogers. I could go with CompuSolve. I could go with a variety of different providers. So what would happen if I had more than one provider?
Scandal.
If cable internet went down, how could I make it so that my computers would automatically now go through DSL? And if DSL went down, it would automatically go through cable. And if both were up, it would share the load between the two different connections. That's where this kind of networking and mesh network and things come to play in a consumer router. DDWRT opens up your router to be able to do that kind of stuff. We don't have time to actually cover that tonight because obviously that's a little bit sophisticated, but it is in fact quite simple to do at the same time. I'll just do a real quick on the DDWRT website in the wiki. There is a mesh networking with OLSR tutorial, and you'll notice that if you look at it, it's quite short and it's actually quite simple. Now it looks a little bit overwhelming because it's like, whoa, what is all this stuff? Well, these are plugins. Yeah, okay, so let's scroll down a little ways, and here's the actual do-it-yourself. So you connect to your router. Yeah, we know how to do that. We go to wireless basic settings, and we check off that, get our wireless set up. Okay, well, we've done that. So what do? We need to set up OLSR, which is to go into advanced routing, turn it on, right? Go through the steps, and everything is pretty much there to get a basic kind of mesh network going with your DDWRT routers. So that is to connect both of those routers together so that if one connection goes down, the other one will take over for the network.
That makes sense.
Right? Really cool stuff. I'll post a link for you in the show notes for episode number 290. But in the meantime, I mean, it was super easy to find. I did a search on Google for DD-WRT mesh. And it was the first result you see there.
Popped up.
Okay. And that is just to set up a very, very basic mesh network. Not overly sophisticated, but it gets you started. And that will help you to get going with that. I love the idea.
Maybe we can look at it in depth another day.
That would be a cool feature. I think we'd have to kind of pre-record and actually set things up. I mean, it starts with flashing your router to DDWRT. It's like an operating system for your physical router, because a router is kind of like a computer.
Yeah.
It's a solid-state computer. And so, it comes with the firmware that, it could be Netgear, or it could be whatever brand, D-Link or something like that. So you get rid of the Netgear thing, put DDWRT on it.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Would be fun.
Good question, though. Thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know how you fare with all that.
And that's pretty much all the time that we have, isn't it? I can't believe it.
I know.
Wow.
We just learned so much about Point Linux. And
you folks have fun tonight?
Holy.
I hope so.
Always a good time.
Now, just a note that we have, I've been working on this, and last week we ran into it, Google Hangouts.
Yes.
It's been very complicated. I mean, we've been really reaching out to expand our kind of reach as far as what services we're available on, and we've been available on Hangouts. We've been available on YouTube Live, which is cool. But Hangouts has been problematic because people haven't been able to find how to get into our Hangout after the show, and it's been like 1 or 2, 3 people coming in to chat after the show, and it's like, well, where is everybody? Well, nobody can find the link. So we figured it out. We got it licked.
Oh, good.
You can go over to cat5.tv/G+ right now, and you'll see the link there, which is going to take you to the Hangout. You have to have a Google Plus account. They're free, so hey, sign up. And with that, you're going to be able to hang out after the show, plug in your webcam, have a quick little chat. We'll be here for about 15 minutes. At least I will be, certainly. And we'll have a quick chat and say hey. And if you have any questions, then let us know. It's cat5.tv/G+. Keep that in mind. Category5.tv is our full website. Cat5.tv, the short one, is our short URL redirector. That'll get you there. All right.
I just tried to do it right now, and that's how.
There you go. And it got you there. And the first thing on your screen is Google Hangouts.
I did it.
How do you like that?
I found it.
Bring it up. And John making a good point in the chat room. If you don't have a Google Plus account, you can still participate by watching. You can go to cat5.tv/YouTube, and you'll be able to watch the Hangout live on YouTube. It's just that if you go through Google Plus, you can use your webcam, and you can actually talk back to us and say hi.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool stuff. So everybody have a fantastic week. Hillary, it's always a pleasure having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Next week's going to be another fun show. Krista and I are going to be showing you how to hack. We're going to step things up a little bit. We are going to build our very first phishing site so that you can steal people's passwords, steal their bank account information.
No more stealing.
That is... Sorry, Hell. We're gonna teach you to fish.
Well, that's gonna be great.
It's all for a good cause, though. We're gonna show you exactly how phishing works so that you know what to watch out for. So don't miss it next week.
Okay.
Have a great week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday night.
Bye.
Episode 290. We're 10 away from 300.
Woohoo!
Yes. See ya.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Category 5 TV broadcasts live from Barrie, Ontario, Canada every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching this on demand or through cable TV, check out the local show times in your area at category5.tv and find out when you can watch live and interact in the community chat room. Category 5 is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. We'll see you next time.